Hi, welcome to today's Greedy 3D. Today I'm going to be making this, the Bruce Lee bust with a clear green resin base. Now this is my first ever commission piece, so I'm so excited to show you this and share the making process today. Now if you like what you see on Greedy 3D, don't forget to subscribe. Every subscription really helps. I'm only a little channel and everyone really does pave the way to bigger things. So I'll show you how we made this. Stay tuned. The first part of the build, I'm going to use this water washable resin from Elegoo, and I am going to give it a bit of a coat of gloss varnish just to liven it up. Now this stuff was made on my Saturn and I haven't cured it in a curing machine. I've just left it out in the sun after I give it a really good clean, and that's why I've got a really lovely effect on the resin, no stains or marks, and the varnish just makes it pop, as you can see there. Now we're going to move on to the main body, and I'm using the colour triad from the Army painter here with the skin flesh tones. I've already given it an undercoat of black, and I'm just going to work from the top down using the Nomad Flesh, the darker colour. People that have seen my videos before know that this is a pretty much a similar routine to what I normally do, and I get the base layer on first in all the nooks and crannies, but try to leave some shadow down below under the nose and under the eyes. Moving on to Barbarian Flesh, the middle colour in the triad range, and as usual I'm just going to try and highlight some of the areas that would catch the light, just giving them a final blast over with the Wildling Flesh just to make them stick out a little bit. You want to try to vary the skin tones in the flesh and leave the darker shades at the bottom and the lighter shades at the top where the light's going to hit them. Moving on now to the Alien Purple, and this is just a drop of Alien Purple with lots of water, so it's more of a wash, and I'm just giving him a general coat over. This really makes the skin, brings the skin to life, if you like. And we're going to move on to some Abysmal Black, and this is how I do the eyes. Those that watch my videos know this is how I do them. I paint the eyes black first, and I'm going to let that paint dry, and while that dries it's quite convenient, I've still got the same colour, which is just the black, and I'm going to give his hair a bit of a once over. Small brush to start with just to get the finer points, then I'm going to use a larger brush to fill in some of the areas. Using one of the Army painter washes, the flesh wash, I'm just going to concentrate on the areas in between his muscles and the centre of his chest and around where his pecs would be, and as well around the arms, just to highlight a couple of areas and make the muscles pop and look like they stick out a little bit more and give him a bit of shade and depth to his body. Moving back to the eyes now, and I'm just going to use some matte white to go into them, and I'm going to keep into the centre of the eyes now, leave a black layer around them, and I'm going to fill those eyes in. Now on a guy like this, the bottom layer of black, I'm going to cover that over with a little bit of skin colour tone and a hint of red. On a female model I tend to leave it above and beyond and below, as it does look like eyeliner, but on a guy it doesn't look quite right if the black is around the bottom. So I don't think that's on video, but I have actually coloured the bottom in. I'm going to use that black now just while everything's drying to give his eyebrows a bit of a blast, and a very fine brush and just gentle strokes, don't blob the eyebrows on. Adding the pupils into his eyes now, and again the same brush I've used for the eyebrows, I'm just going to pop in those pupils. The thing with a model of this scale and the fact that his eyes are quite dark by default means I can get away with just putting the black in the eyes, as you see there, and I'll give them a little speckle of white just to make them pop, but that's virtually the eyes done. Moving on to his lips, and I've just used a little bit of glistening blood. I've mixed that with a skin colour tone so it's nice and light, and I'm just going to give his lips a coat. Those are the things that are going to stick out on him: his eyes, his lips, his eyebrows and his hair. There's not much more that's going to stick out on his face, so I want to make sure his lips can be seen and have an impression on his face. Now moving on, and I'm tidying up, and I'm doing a little bit of the basics now, and just cleaning up some of the paint and the overspills, making sure that his belt, of course a black belt, or it's actually a sash in Kung Fu, looks really nice. And I'm going to dry brush some white across his hair, not to make him look like an old age pensioner, but to make him look shiny. And again on his trousers, I'm going to give them a bit more of a blast. I want them to look a bit used and a bit battered and a bit worn. And just as a contrast, I'm going to paint his socks white. That will give us a good separation between his shoes and the bottom of his trousers. And I found that I needed to give this quite a few coats to make it look complete and whole. And once that's done, I'm going to move on to the base. Now the base I printed in PLA, and I did that on my end of 5, and this is what the base looks like. And I've just used a little bit of silver, and I'm just going to go around the bottom just to highlight the bottom, highlight the top, and we're done. Let's have a look at that final result. Let's reveal Bruce Lee.